again. Welcome to Lady Liadan's Learning Library. Today we're going to be learning about pottery. Pottery has been made since ancient times. In fact, they've used it for cooking utensils, eating utensils, and drinking vessels. They've also used it for writing tablets. Clay tablets were used by scribes in ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt to help keep records and accounts. Potsherds are used by archaeologists to help date an archaeological site. Potsherds are pieces of a pot. They can be teeny tiny, they can be really big, but they help to date the archaeological site to the period because different styles of pottery were available or were made during different periods. We're going to be talking about 4 different types of pots. We're going to be talking about a thrown pot, which we're not going to do today, but a thrown pot is not one you throw against the wall. A thrown pot is a pot or dish or cup that is made on a pottery wheel that spins around and you form it with your hands. A pinch pot is one of the ones we're going to be doing today. A pinch pot is made by pinching off a piece of clay, working it with your hands, just like that. They're one of the most simple ones to do. So it's taken like this. You just work it. You're pinching it. You're pinching the clay. And we'll work more on this in a little bit. Just like that. There's also a coil pot. A coil pot is made by making a big, long rope of clay and coiling it up to make your pot. A slab pot is made by cutting off slabs like this of clay They're usually in big sheets, like a big square or a big circle, and you put them together to make your pot. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with some clay today. You're going to get messy. We're working with air-dried clay, a little bit of water, some improvised tools. You know all those silverware kits you get from the drive-thru? Those make great pottery tools. We have a dowel rod to help as a rolling pin to help make a slab or a coil pot base. We also have some cutouts that we can use to help decorate our pot. You can use cookie cutters. You can use wood cutouts and then just cut out around them. You can use natural objects. In fact, you can even put natural objects like sticks and twigs, acorns, flowers, flower petals into your pot to help decorate it. Now there are several different types of clay. What we're using is an air-dried clay. So we don't have to fire it. It just dries on its own. There is fired clay, which you would put in what's called a kiln, which is a really big oven that gets really, really hot. There's oven dry clay or oven baked clay that you stick in your oven it's called Sculpty, or it's a polymer clay. It's not, clay that you would find in medieval times. But if you were wanting, something that that wouldn't break, Sculpty would be fine because you could fire it. And then there's ceramic and porcelain clay. Those are usually high fire clays. They can be molded and put into a mold, or it can be worked just like you would regular pottery. So let's get started, and we're going to do a pinch pot first. Okay, so we are going to do a pinch pot first. So we work it like this, kind of get it into the shape we want it to be first. And sometimes having a little bit of water on your hands helps work the clay a little better. Makes it a little softer and easier to work with. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to stick our finger down there just like that. See how I'm pinching? Just going around. See how I've created this? In just a few little minutes, it's taking shape. Now, remember, my hands are bigger and much more experienced at doing all kinds of things. It might take you a little bit longer to make your pot look like mine, and that's okay. You can make it look like a little basket, like that. Flare the edges just like that. I can take the spoon, oops, smooth out the outside, just like that, so that it doesn't look so pinchy, but I actually kind of like the way it looks. You don't want to get the edges or the walls too thin, but you don't want them too fat either, otherwise it'll take a long time to dry. Kind of like the way that looks. It looks like tulip petals. Okay, just like that. You can take water and help to smooth it out just a little bit. Just like that. Helps to smooth out the clay. Smoothing out the bottom a little bit, smoothing out the sides. And just like that, it's done. We're going to put that off to the side so it can dry. We're going to take this other piece of clay here, we're going to roll it up. We're going to make a big, long snake. Now remember, you want to protect your work surface, just like I've done. You can use newspaper or plastic. I'm using an old cutting board. So see, I'm making a big, long snake or rope. I've always loved doing this. Now, you can use a slab make it a nice, long, thin snake. Alright. That off to the side there. Whoops. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more. Whoops. I broke my tool. That happens when you use plastic. Alright. So I'm going to make a base for this. I'm going to use my dowel rod as, see, it works as a rolling pin. Just like that. And you know what I'm going to do? Whoops. Just like that. I'm going to take this cookie cutter and stick it up on the sides. And I'm going to cut off the excess. Just like that. Take that, put it back with the rest of your clay. See how nice and thick that is? It's a good base. This is where the water actually comes in really handy. So what you want to do is you want to go around the edge of the base just like that. That'll actually help you take your clay . Just like that. Alright. And then we do it again. Top of that. Makes it sticky. And this is called a coil pot because what am I doing? I'm coiling clay on top, just like that, see? Now when we get this done, I'll show you some other techniques that we can use. go all the way to the top. So let's make another long snake. Not quite as big as I want it to be, but that's okay. See, we're making another long snake. I'm going to take this and move it over here just a little bit. I'm going to make another long snake. Another rope of clay. And we want it to be approximately the same size as the coil we just made. Bring this back over here. We're going to put a little bit of water on the end of this, on the end of that. And we're going to join them together, just like that. And we'll smooth that out here in a little bit. Going. Kind of hard when it wants to fall down. Notice how my square is kind of turning into a circle. We can fix that. Not a problem. And I think that's about as high as I want to take it. So what we're going to do is we're going to flatten out the end, just like that a little bit. All right. So, I'm going to the inside a little bit, just like that. And then we're going to take our spoon and work those coils together to help strengthen your spoon just a little bit wet, because that'll help. You can pull down on that bottom coil. Stick it really good. Sometimes sometimes a finger is good too. Or popsicle stick. Unfortunately, I don't have any popsicle sticks. Now you could smooth the outside too if you wanted to. But you don't need to. If you want it to look like a coiled pot on the outside. That's your coil pot right there. So we'll blend those two together right there because that's where the join was. And fix any breaks just like that. And we'll put that aside to dry. All right, so we're actually going to need a couple of big pieces of clay here. The next one. So I need 4 sides and a bottom. So I need 1, 2, 3, and since my clay doesn't come in a way I can make a slab out of it, I'm going to make slabs another way. Okay. So I need 5 of those. I'm going to take that off so I have room to work. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it out. Take my dowel rod, just like we're making cookies. And you remember how we did the slab? The last pot? That's exactly how we're going to do the slabs. Ooh, looks like I've got hair in my clay. All right. So we're going to take our cookie cutter. And always clean up your mess. That's that one. That's one. You want them all about the same thickness. I think I got too much on that one. Let's see if that fit. Yep, it sure will. Wiggle it just a little bit. Pull it out. Just like that. Normally these would be a little bit bigger. But that's the size cookie cutter I have. But you know what? You can take your squares, flatten them out a little bit, make them a little bigger, just like that. Okay. One more. And just like that. When you're done with your clay, always put your lid back on. So it stays nice and moist. Alright, that's off the table. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to flatten out our pieces just a little bit. It'll make them just a tiny bit bigger, much bigger. Oops. Nice thing about clay is that you can do that. Fit everything. Gonna work. A little bit of water. Together just like that. It's okay if it doesn't fit perfectly at first. You can always make it fit. By trimming. We can use the pinch method on the corners to put them together. Just like that. I love working with clay. I like working with my hands. Last piece goes on. Just like that. Not very good at it, but I like doing it. And the more you play with it, the better you get. is our slab pot. So we can smooth out our pinches and everything on all the sides with using the water, and on the inside. Smooth out the joints. Just like that. You can barely see where it was all put together. Soften the top a little bit using the water. Just like that. All right. There we go. It's all finished. Now if I wanted to, I could take, just like I did with cutting these out, I could take like a fairy or a leaf, or even go get some rose petals out of my garden and stick them around to make pretty designs. Or you can leave it like this, and after it's dry, you can paint and glue things on. You can also press in mosaic tiles and create a design. So, moms and dads and kids, I hope you've had fun. I have. I enjoy playing with clay. Find a potter in your community and maybe take some pottery classes if you enjoy this. Go to a museum. Look at some of the pottery from ancient times, from different cultures, and see what different things that they did. I love messing with clay. When your pots are dry, you can totally take and use them for pencils, holding things. They're great pots of holding. You cannot use, if you use air dry clay or even the polymer clay, you cannot use them for drinking vessels, food vessels. But certainly if you go to a pottery class, the type of clay you'll be using there is one that's fired in a kiln, and there are food-safe glazes that you can use on them that would make them great for using for feast. That's all the time we have. We'll see you next time.